The fluorescent lights buzz above her head like trapped wasps. Zuri Bell stands in the intake line at Bedford Emergency Youth Shelter, clutching a plastic bag that holds everything she owns. The woman at the desk doesn't look up, just slides a clipboard across the counter and says the same thing she said to 12 other kids tonight. "Fill this out. Wait over there." Zuri's hands shake as she takes the pen. The form asks for her birthday, her last address, her emergency contact. She leaves that line blank because there isn't anyone to call. Not anymore. The shelter smells like bleach and old coffee. Kids sit on metal folding chairs against the wall, faces empty, eyes down. A boy younger than her picks at a hole in his sneaker. A girl with braids wrapped in a grocery bag rubs her arms like she's trying to remember what warm feels like. Nobody talks. "Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is." Zuri finishes the form and hands it back. The woman glances at it, then stops. Her eyebrows pull together. "This says you're 13. "Yes, ma'am. We don't have beds for 13-year-olds tonight. You'll have to go to the overflow site in Brownsville." Zuri's stomach drops. Brownsville is 40 minutes away. She doesn't have subway fare. She doesn't have anything. "Please," she whispers. "I don't have nowhere else." The woman's face doesn't change. She's heard it before. She'll hear it again tomorrow. "Not my call, sweetheart." Rules are rules. Behind the desk, a man stands up. He's tall, late 30s, with tired eyes and a name tag that says Marcus Webb, facility coordinator. He walks over and takes the clipboard from the woman's hands. "Let me see that." He reads it once, then again. His jaw tightens. She stays. The woman blinks. "Marcus, we don't have the capacity." "Then make capacity." His voice is quiet but sharp. "This child is not getting on a train alone at 9:30 at night." The woman opens her mouth to argue, but Marcus is already walking around the desk. He kneels down so he's eye level with Zuri. "You hungry?" She nods. "Come on." He leads her past the waiting area, through a hallway that smells like instant mashed potatoes, into a small cafeteria where a few kids are finishing dinner. He brings her a tray. Chicken sandwich, apple, juice box. Zuri stares at it like it might disappear. "Eat slow," Marcus says gently. "You got time." She takes a bite. Then another. Her throat is so tight she can barely swallow, but she forces it down because she doesn't know when she'll eat again. Marcus sits across from her, not saying anything, just present, like he knows talking too much would make her feel small. After a minute, he asks, "You got family? Anybody we can call?" Zuri shakes her head. "No parents? Grandparents?" She stops chewing. Her fingers tighten around the sandwich. "I had a grandmother." Marcus waits. "But she left me a long time ago. I don't think she wants me back." The words taste worse than the dry bread in her mouth. Marcus leans forward a little, studying her face like he's trying to solve something. "What's her name?" "Etta Caldwell-Revore." Marcus goes still. His eyes widen just a fraction. Then he stands up fast, chair scraping the floor. "Wait here." He walks out of the cafeteria, pulling his phone from his pocket. Zuri watches him through the doorway as he dials. His voice is low but urgent. She can't hear the words, but she sees the way his shoulders tense, the way he runs a hand over his face like he just learned something terrible. 5 minutes later, he comes back in. His expression is different now, softer, sadder. "Zuri, I need you to trust me, okay? You're safe here tonight. I promise." She nods, but she doesn't believe him. Adults make promises they don't keep. She learned that 3 months ago. Outside, the October wind rattles the windows. Zuri finishes her sandwich in silence while Marcus makes more calls. She doesn't know what's happening, but something in the air has changed. The woman at the desk keeps glancing at her, whispering to someone on the phone, writing things down. An hour passes. Then the front doors open. A gust of cold air sweeps through the lobby. Zuri looks up and sees a woman step inside. She's older, maybe 70, dressed in a long gray coat and a silver hat that catches the light. Her shoes click on the tile floor. She moves like someone who's used to people getting out of her way. Zuri's heart stops. She knows that face. It's been 10 years, but she knows it. Etta Caldwell-Revore stands in the doorway of the shelter, scanning the room with sharp, searching eyes. When she sees Zuri sitting at the table, something cracks across her face. Shock, disbelief, horror. She walks forward slowly, like she's afraid if she moves too fast, the girl will vanish. Zuri doesn't move. Can't move. Her entire body locks up. Etta stops a few feet away. Her hands tremble as she reaches out, then pulls back, uncertain. Baby. Her voice breaks on the word. Zuri stiffens. She looks down at the table at her empty tray, anywhere but at the woman standing in front of her. Marcus steps closer, his voice low. Miss Caldwell-Revore, she's been here 3 months. Nobody contacted you? Etta's face goes pale. 3 months. Yes, ma'am. Etta's breath comes out jagged. She looks at Zuri's torn red shirt, the dirt on her cheeks, the shelter bracelet on her wrist, and something in her shatters. She kneels down, slowly, like her knees hurt, until she's at Zuri's level. Her hands hover near the girl's shoulders but don't touch. Zuri, why didn't you call me? Zuri finally looks up. Her eyes are wet but her voice is flat. I thought you didn't want me no more. Etta flinches like she's been slapped. Why would you think that? Because you left me. The words hang in the air, heavy and sharp. Etta opens her mouth but no sound comes out. For the first time in 50 years, she has no answer. Zuri stands up, her chair scraping loud in the silence. She picks up her plastic bag and looks at her grandmother with an expression too old for her face. Are you here to punish me? Or forget me again? What would you do if you discovered the child you loved had been suffering alone, believing you abandoned them? Etta doesn't sleep that night. She sits in the back of her car as her driver, Leon, navigates the empty streets toward Manhattan. Zuri is beside her, pressed against the far door like she's ready to jump out at any red light. The girl hasn't said a word since they left the shelter. Etta keeps glancing at her, trying to find the right words, but every sentence she starts in her head sounds hollow. Inadequate. Too late. The city blurs past. Neon signs. Empty storefronts. A man sleeping on a subway grate. Etta has lived in New York her entire life, built her empire here, but tonight it feels like a foreign place. Cold. Indifferent. Leon pulls up to the penthouse on 5th Avenue. The doorman nods and opens the car door. Etta steps out, then turns back to offer Zuri her hand. The girl doesn't take it. She climbs out on her own, bag still clutched to her chest, and follows Etta into the marble lobby. The elevator ride is silent except for the soft hum of machinery. 42 floors up. Zuri stares at the numbers as they climb, her face unreadable. When the doors open, Etta leads her into the penthouse. Tall ceilings, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. Art on the walls worth more than most people make in a lifetime. Zuri walks inside and stops. She looks around like she's entered a museum. Everything is pristine, untouchable. Nothing like the cramped apartment she lived in with her mother before she died. Nothing like the house where her relatives kept her in a basement room with a leaking ceiling. Etta watches her, trying to see the space through Zuri's eyes. For the first time, it feels obscene. Are you hungry? Etta asks. Zuri shakes her head. Thirsty. Another shake. Would you like to see your room? Zuri finally looks at her. My room. Yes, I had it prepared years ago, for when you came to visit. Something flickers in Zuri's eyes. Confusion. Maybe anger. I never came to visit. I know, Etta says quietly. That's my fault. She leads Zuri down a long hallway, past guest rooms and a library, to a door at the end. She opens it. The room is large. Too large. A queen bed with a white comforter. A desk. Bookshelves. A window seat overlooking the park. Everything is clean and untouched, like it's been waiting for someone who never arrived. Zuri steps inside slowly. She sets her plastic bag on the floor and walks to the window. The city spreads out below her, glittering and distant. "You can take a shower if you want," Etta says. "There are towels in the bathroom. Clean clothes in the closet." Zuri doesn't answer. Etta lingers in the doorway, unsure if she should stay or go. Finally, she says, "I'm glad you're here." Zuri turns around. Her face is hard. "Why?" The question is simple but brutal. "Because you're my granddaughter. Because I love you. You didn't love me when I was living in a shelter." Etta's chest tightens. "I didn't know. You didn't ask." The words hit like a hammer. Etta tries to respond, but Zuri cuts her off. "You gave me to people who hated me. Then you disappeared. I waited for you to come get me. Every day I waited. But you never did." Etta's hands shake. She grips the door frame to steady herself. I thought it would make you stronger." Zuri laughs, but there's no humor in it. Just bitterness. "Stronger? I was 6 years old. I didn't need to be strong. I needed you." Etta feels something collapse inside her chest. She wants to explain, to tell Zuri about the trust fund, about her philosophy, about how she believed hardship built character. But standing here now, looking at this broken child, every justification sounds like a lie. "I was wrong," Etta whispers. Zuri stares at her for a long moment. Then she turns back to the window. "You should go." Etta hesitates, then nods. She steps out and closes the door softly behind her. In the hallway, she leans against the wall and presses her hand to her mouth. For the first time in decades, Etta Caldwell-Revore cries. Inside the room, Zuri stands at the window until the tears on her own face dry. Then she walks to the bed, sits down, and pulls her plastic bag onto her lap. She opens it and takes out the only thing inside that matters. A photograph. It's old, creased, the edges worn from being held too many times. It shows a woman with kind eyes and a bright smile, holding a little girl on her hip, Zuri's mother, taken 2 weeks before she died. Zuri traces her finger over her mother's face and whispers, "I'm sorry I couldn't be good enough." She tucks the photo under her pillow, lies down, and pulls the blanket over her head. The bed is soft, too soft. She's not used to it. She keeps one hand on her bag, ready to grab it if she needs to run. Because even here, in this big house with its tall windows and expensive furniture, Zuri doesn't feel safe. She feels like a guest who'll be asked to leave in the morning. Across the penthouse, Etta sits in her study, staring at a file on her desk. It's thick, bound with a rubber band, labeled in neat handwriting, Zuri Bell, Trust Fund Documentation. She opens it slowly. Inside are contracts, legal documents, bank statements showing millions of dollars locked behind conditions. Age 25, financial independence, no criminal record, proof of stability. Etta wrote these terms herself 10 years ago, convinced she was protecting Zuri from becoming spoiled, from losing herself in wealth the way so many rich children do. Now, looking at the words she wrote, they feel like a prison. She picks up the phone and dials her lawyer. He answers on the third ring, voice groggy. "Etta, it's 1 in the morning. I need you to pull the Zuri Bell Trust file first thing tomorrow." "Why? What's wrong?" Etta's voice is steady, but her hands aren't. "Everything." She hangs up before he can ask more questions. Then she opens her laptop and searches for the address of the relatives she placed Zuri with all those years ago. The ones she trusted. The ones who promised to care for her. The ones who destroyed her. Etta's jaw tightens as she types their names into a search engine. Within minutes, she finds what she needs. A history of complaints. Unpaid debts. A police report filed 3 months ago about a missing child. Her missing child. And nobody called her. Etta slams the laptop shut and stands. She walks to the window and looks out at the city, her city, the place she built her fortune and her reputation. But tonight, none of it matters. Because while she was counting money and attending galas and making deals, her granddaughter was sleeping on a cot in a shelter, believing she'd been abandoned. Etta's reflection stares back at her in the glass. She barely recognizes herself. "What have I done?" she whispers. "If you had the power to rewrite your biggest mistake, Would you take it, even if it meant admitting you were wrong? Marcus Webb locks the shelter doors at midnight and drives home through empty streets. His daughter, Amara, is asleep when he arrives. He checks on her anyway, standing in the doorway of her room, watching her breathe. She's 9 years old, safe, loved. Everything Zuri isn't. He thinks about the call he made tonight, about the way Etta Caldwell-Revore's voice broke when he told her where her granddaughter had been living, about the look on Zuri's face when she asked if her grandmother was there to punish her. Marcus has worked in shelters for 15 years. He's seen hundreds of kids come through those doors. Most of them leave and he never knows what happens next. But something about Zuri stays with him. Maybe it's the way she didn't cry, or the way she ate that sandwich like she was apologizing for being hungry. He sits down at his kitchen table and opens his laptop. He shouldn't do this. It's against protocol. But he searches Etta Caldwell-Revore's name anyway. The results are immediate. Pages of articles, business profiles, charity galas. A woman worth more money than Marcus will see in 10 lifetimes. He keeps scrolling until he finds an older article from 12 years ago. Real estate mogul Etta Caldwell-Revore loses daughter in tragic accident. Marcus clicks it. The article is short. Says Etta's only daughter, Zuri Bell, died in a car crash. She left behind a 6-year-old daughter. The article doesn't name the child, but Marcus doesn't need it to. He closes the laptop and rubs his eyes. So that's the story. Etta lost her daughter, took in her granddaughter. Then what? Disappeared? Sent her away? It doesn't add up. Marcus has met a lot of bad grandparents. Neglectful ones, abusive ones who only show up when they want something. But Etta didn't look like that tonight. She looked devastated. He makes a note to follow up tomorrow. Then he goes to bed, but sleep doesn't come easy. The next morning, Zuri wakes up disoriented. For a moment, she doesn't know where she is. The bed is too soft. The room is too quiet. Then she remembers. She sits up slowly and looks around. Sunlight pours through the window. The city looks different in daylight. Cleaner, almost pretty. There's a knock on the door. Zuri? Etta's voice is cautious. May I come in? Zuri doesn't answer, but the door opens anyway. Etta steps inside, holding a tray. Toast, eggs, orange juice. She sets it on the desk. I wasn't sure what you liked, so I made a little of everything. Zuri stares at the food. Her stomach growls, but she doesn't move. Etta sits down on the edge of the bed, keeping distance between them. I spoke to my lawyer this morning. We're going to make some changes to your trust fund. Zuri's head snaps up. What trust fund? Etta blinks. You don't know? Know what? Etta's face goes pale. Zuri, I set up a trust for you when your mother died. Millions of dollars. It was supposed to be yours when you turned 25. Zuri stares at her like she's speaking another language. Millions? Yes. And you didn't tell me? I thought you knew. Zuri stands up, her voice rising. How was I supposed to know? You weren't there. Etta flinches but doesn't look away. You're right. I should have been. Why weren't you? The question hangs heavy in the air. Etta takes a breath, choosing her words carefully. When your mother died, I was terrified. Terrified that if I gave you everything too soon, you'd lose yourself. I grew up with nothing, Zuri. I clawed my way to where I am. I wanted you to be strong, independent, so I made rules. I thought if you had to work for it, you'd appreciate it more. Zuri's hands clench into fists. I didn't need money. I needed you. I know that now. But you didn't know it then. Etta's voice cracks. No, I didn't. Zuri turns away, staring at the wall. The people you left me with, they told me I was expensive, that I cost too much, that nobody wanted me because I was bad. Etta closes her eyes, pain written across her face. They lied to you. Then where were you? I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought distance would make you stronger. But I was wrong. I was so wrong. Zuri finally looks at her, and her eyes are wet. They hit me. They locked me in the basement when I cried. They said if I told anyone, you'd send me somewhere worse. Etta's breath catches. Oh God. And when I got caught stealing food from school because they wouldn't feed me, they called the cops. Said I was out of control. So the cops took me. Who were the people? Etta's voice is sharp now. Who did this to you? Your cousin, Lorraine. Etta goes rigid. Lorraine Patterson, a distant relative Etta barely knew but trusted because she was family. Because she needed someone and Lorraine said all the right things. She's going to pay for this, Etta says quietly. I promise you that. Zuri shakes her head. I don't care about her. I just want to know why you didn't check on me. Not even once. Etta looks down at her hands. They're shaking. I called. Every month. Lorraine said you were fine. Thriving. She sent me report cards. Photos. I thought. Her voice breaks. I thought you were okay. I wasn't in any of those photos. Etta's head snaps up. What? Those pictures weren't me. I don't know who they were, but they weren't me. The realization hits Etta like a freight train. She stands up, rage and horror flooding her face. She lied. She lied about everything. Zuri watches her grandmother's reaction with something close to satisfaction. Not because she's happy, but because finally, someone believes her. I need to make some calls, Etta says, her voice hard. Stay here. Eat something. Please. She walks out, already dialing her phone. Zuri hears her voice echo down the hallway, sharp and commanding. Lawyer. Private investigator. Police. Zuri sits back down on the bed and picks at the toast. It's still warm. She takes a bite, then another. For the first time in 3 months, she eats without looking over her shoulder. But deep down, she knows this isn't over, because people like Lorraine don't just disappear, and trust funds worth millions don't just sit untouched. Someone wanted Zuri gone, and whoever it was, they're still out there. What happens when the people meant to protect you are the ones who hurt you most? Zuri doesn't leave the penthouse for 3 days. Etta tries to coax her out, suggests they go for a walk in the park, visit a museum, anything. But Zuri refuses. She stays in her room with the door half closed, eating only when Etta brings food, speaking only when asked a direct question. At night, Etta hears her moving around, opening drawers, closing them, testing the locks on the windows. On the 4th morning, Etta finds food hidden under Zuri's bed. Crackers, granola bars, an apple wrapped in a napkin. She doesn't say anything, just leaves the food there and quietly adds more to the stash when Zuri isn't looking. Etta's lawyer, Bernard Chen, comes by on the 5th day. He's a small man with wire-rimmed glasses and a briefcase that weighs more than he does. He sets it on the dining table and pulls out a folder. We have a problem, he says. Etta sits across from him, hands folded. Explain. The trust fund you set up for Zuri has a trustee, someone responsible for managing it until she turns 25. I know. I appointed one. Yes, Gerald Moss, your late husband's business partner. Etta nods. Gerald was reliable, quiet, handled things without drama. Bernard clears his throat. Etta, Gerald died 2 years ago. Etta goes still. What? Heart attack. You were traveling at the time. Overseas. You might not have heard. Etta's mind races. She didn't know. How did she not know? Who took over as trustee? Bernard hesitates. That's the problem. There's an interim trustee listed. Someone named Victor Alcott. Etta frowns. I don't know anyone named Victor Alcott. Neither do I. But according to these records, he was appointed by the probate court after Gerald's death. He's been managing the trust for the last 2 years. Etta leans back in her chair, her jaw tight. And nobody informed me? Apparently not. Where is this Victor Alcott now? That's what I'm trying to find out. I've called his office 6 times. No answer. His address on file is a P.O. box. Etta's eyes narrow. That's not standard. No, it's not. She stands up and walks to the window, looking out at the city. Pull every record you can find on him. bank transfers, communications. I want to know where every dollar in that trust has gone. Bernard nods. I'm already working on it. But Etta, if he's been embezzling, this could take months to untangle. Then we start now. Bernard packs up his briefcase and leaves. Etta stays at the window, her mind turning over the pieces. Gerald dead. A stranger in control of Zuri's money. Lorraine lying for years. It's not random. It's calculated. Someone wanted Zuri isolated, vulnerable, forgotten. Etta turns and walks down the hall to Zuri's room. She knocks softly. Come in. Zuri is sitting on the floor, back against the bed, staring at nothing. Etta sits down beside her. Can I ask you something? Etta says. Zuri shrugs. When you were living with Lorraine, did anyone ever come to visit? Lawyers? Social workers? Zuri thinks for a moment. Once, a man in a suit. He talked to Lorraine in the kitchen. She gave him money. Etta's blood runs cold. Did you hear his name? No, but Lorraine called him Mr. V. Etta's hands clench into fists. Mr. V? Victor. What did he look like? Tall, white hair. He wore a ring with a red stone. Etta stands up, her heart pounding. Thank you, Zuri. She walks out and immediately calls Bernard. I need you to look into Lorraine Patterson's bank records. See if there are any payments from Victor Alcott. Etta, that's going to require a warrant. Then get one. She hangs up and paces the living room. The pieces are starting to fit together. Victor controls the trust. Lorraine controls Zuri. They both benefit from keeping her hidden. But why? The answer comes to her slowly, like ice spreading across glass. If Zuri stays lost, the trust goes unclaimed. And if it goes unclaimed long enough, it defaults to the trustee. Victor isn't just stealing, he's erasing her. Etta picks up her phone and dials Marcus Webb. He answers on the second ring. Ms. Caldwell-Revore? Marcus, I need your help. What's going on? Someone tried to make my granddaughter disappear, and I need to prove it. There's a pause. Then Marcus says, tell me what you need. That night, Marcus drives to the penthouse. Zuri is surprised to see him. She stands in the doorway of her room, watching as he and Etta talk in low voices at the dining table. After a while, Marcus looks up and sees her. He smiles. Hey, Zuri. She doesn't smile back, but she walks over and sits down. I brought something for you, Marcus says. He reaches into his bag and pulls out a notebook. It's plain, spiral-bound, nothing fancy. What's this for? Zuri asks. Writing, drawing, whatever you want. Sometimes it helps to get things out of your head. Zuri takes it slowly. She runs her fingers over the cover. Thank you. Marcus nods. Then he looks at Etta. We're going to figure this out, but it's going to take time. And Zuri's going to need support. Not just legal support, emotional support. Etta's face softens. What do you suggest? Therapy. A good one. Someone who specializes in trauma. Zuri tenses. I don't need therapy. Marcus looks at her gently. It's not about needing it. It's about having someone in your corner who understands. Zuri looks down at the notebook in her hands. She wants to argue, but part of her knows he's right. I'll think about it, she says quietly. Marcus stands to leave, but before he goes, he crouches down next to Zuri. You're not alone anymore. You hear me? Zuri nods, but she doesn't meet his eyes. After he's gone, Etta sits beside her. He's right, you know. You're not alone. Zuri finally looks at her. Why do you care now? Etta doesn't flinch. Because I should have cared then, and I can't go back and fix that. But I can be here now. Zuri's eyes well up. She blinks hard, trying to stop the tears. I don't know how to trust you. Etta's voice is steady. Then don't. Not yet. But let me prove it to you. Every day. For as long as it takes. Zuri wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. She looks down at the notebook Marcus gave her. Then she opens it to the first page. She picks up a pen and writes one sentence. I wasn't broken. I was waiting. Can love repair what absence destroyed? Or are some wounds too deep to heal? 3 weeks pass. Zuri starts therapy. She doesn't talk much at first, just sits in the chair and stares at the clock. But her therapist, Dr. Kemi Okonkwo, is patient. She doesn't push. She just waits. Slowly, Zuri starts to open up. About her mother, about the basement, about the night the police came. At home, things shift too. Etta stops trying so hard. She doesn't hover, doesn't ask too many questions. She just exists in the same space as Zuri, offering quiet presence instead of loud apologies. One morning, Zuri comes into the kitchen and finds Etta making pancakes. Not a chef, not a housekeeper. Etta herself, wearing an apron and cursing softly at the stove. "I forgot how to do this," Etta mutters. Zuri watches from the doorway. Then, without thinking, she walks over and takes the spatula. "You're burning them." Etta steps back, surprised. "I am." "Yeah." The heat's too high. Zuri turns the burner down and flips the pancakes. They're golden brown. Perfect. Etta smiles. "Your mother taught you that?" Zuri nods. "She used to let me help." They eat breakfast together in silence. But it's not uncomfortable. It's just quiet. Later that day, Etta gets a call from Bernard. She takes it in her study, door closed. Zuri stands in the hallway, listening. "We found him," Bernard says. "Victor Alcott. He's been siphoning funds from the trust for 2 years. Over $800,000. Etta's voice is ice. "Where is he?" "His office is in Midtown." "But Etta, there's more." "What?" "He's connected to Lorraine. Bank records show regular payments. And there's a paper trail showing he paid off a social worker to keep Zuri's case buried." Etta's hands shake with rage. "Get the police involved. Now." "Already done. They're building a case. But we need Zuri's testimony." Etta closes her eyes. She's been through enough. "I know, but this is the only way to make sure he doesn't get away with it." Etta hangs up and sits in silence for a long time. Then she opens the door and finds Zuri standing there. "I heard," Zuri says. Etta doesn't lie. "Yes, I'll do it." "Zuri, you don't have to." "I want to." Her voice is steady. "I want them to know what they did." Etta studies her face, sees the determination there, the strength. "Okay," Etta says. "But I'll be with you the whole time." Zuri nods. That night, Etta makes an announcement. She invites Bernard, Marcus, and a few trusted colleagues to the penthouse. She stands in front of them, hands clasped. "I'm dissolving the original trust fund structure," she says. Gasps ripple through the room. "I'm replacing it with a living trust, accessible immediately, focused on healing, education, and choice." Bernard leans forward. "Etta, are you sure? This is a significant financial decision." "I'm sure, but the terms you originally set were wrong." Etta's voice is firm. "This money was never meant to test survival. It was meant to protect a child. And I forgot that." She looks at Zuri, who's standing on the balcony, watching through the glass. Their eyes meet. For the first time, Zuri doesn't look away. The next morning, the story breaks. News outlets pick up the case. Real estate mogul's granddaughter found in shelter after years of neglect. The headlines are brutal. Etta's name is everywhere. She doesn't care. She's too busy working with lawyers, coordinating with the police, and making sure Zuri has everything she needs. But as the case gains traction, something else happens. A sealed file surfaces, one that Bernard didn't request, one that arrived anonymously. Inside are emails, dated back 7 years, between Victor Alcott and someone else. The subject line reads, Caldwell-Revore access denial. Bernard opens it and reads. His face goes white. "Etta," he says quietly, "you need to see this." Etta takes the file and reads. The emails detail a deliberate plan to keep her away from Zuri, to intercept calls, to falsify reports, all coordinated by Victor. But he wasn't acting alone. At the bottom of the chain, there's a signature. Gerald Moss. Etta's breath stops. Gerald, the man she trusted, her late husband's best friend, the one who was supposed to protect Zuri. He was the one who started it all. Etta sits down slowly, the file trembling in her hands. Bernard speaks carefully. Etta, it looks like Gerald appointed Victor specifically to continue the scheme after his death. They were working together from the beginning. Etta's voice is barely a whisper. Why? Money? Control? Maybe both. Etta closes her eyes. She trusted Gerald. She gave him power over her granddaughter's future, and he used it to destroy her. She looks up at Bernard, her face hard. I want everything. Every document, every transaction, every lie. I want it all exposed. Bernard nods. It will be. That evening, Etta sits with Zuri in the living room. She tells her everything. About Gerald, about the emails, about the betrayal that goes back years. Zuri listens without interrupting. When Etta finishes, the girl is quiet for a long time. Then she says, so it wasn't just an accident. No, they wanted me gone. Yes. Zuri nods slowly. Then we make sure everyone knows. Etta reaches for her hand. This time, Zuri doesn't pull away. We will. Outside, the city lights flicker. Inside, something shifts. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But the beginning of it. A choice to fight. Together. But as Zuri heads to her room that night, she finds something slipped under her door. An envelope. No name. No return address. She opens it. Inside is a single photograph. Old. Faded. It shows her mother, young and smiling, standing next to a man Zuri doesn't recognize. On the back, someone has written in careful handwriting, "She knew too much, just like you." Zuri's hands start to shake. What do you do when you realize the conspiracy goes deeper than you ever imagined? Zuri stares at the photograph until her vision blurs. The man standing next to her mother is tall, dark-skinned, wearing a suit that looks expensive. His hand rests on her mother's shoulder. They're both smiling, but there's something tense in her mother's eyes, like she's pretending. Zuri flips the photo over again and reads the words. She knew too much, just like you. Her heart pounds so hard she can feel it in her throat. She walks out of her room, the photo clutched in her hand, and finds Etta in the study. Someone left this under my door. Etta looks up from her laptop, takes the photo. Her face goes white. Where did you get this? I just told you. Someone slid it under my door. Etta stands up fast, walks to the hallway, looks left and right. Empty. She presses the intercom button that connects to the building's front desk. This is Ms. Caldwell-Revore. Has anyone come up to my floor in the last hour? The security guard's voice crackles through. No, ma'am. Just your regular staff earlier this afternoon. Etta releases the button, turns back to Zuri. Who is he? Zuri asks, pointing at the man in the photo. Etta's jaw tightens. She walks back into the study and pulls a file from her desk drawer. Opens it. Compares the photo to an old business card clipped inside. His name is Donovan Pierce. He used to work with your mother. Doing what? Etta hesitates. Legal consulting. She was helping him with a case involving financial fraud. Zuri's stomach drops. What kind of fraud? The kind that involves people in high places. People with money and power who don't like being exposed. Zuri looks at the photo again, at her mother's forced smile, at Donovan's hand on her shoulder. You think he had something to do with her accident? Etta doesn't answer right away. When she does, her voice is careful, measured. Your mother's car went off a bridge. The police said she lost control, but there were no skid marks, no signs she tried to brake. Zuri's hands go cold. You think someone killed her? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. Etta picks up her phone and calls Bernard. He answers immediately. I need you to find everything you can on Donovan Pierce. Where he is now, what he's been doing for the last 12 years. Etta, what's going on? Someone just threatened my granddaughter. There's a pause. Then Bernard's voice sharpens. I'm on it. Etta hangs up and looks at Zuri. Pack a bag. We're leaving tonight. Leaving? Where? Somewhere safe. I thought I was safe here. Etta's eyes are hard. So did I. Within an hour, they're in the car. Leon drives while Etta makes calls. Zuri sits in the back, staring out the window as the city blurs past. They're heading north out of Manhattan, into quieter neighborhoods where the buildings get shorter and the streets get wider. Leon pulls up to a brownstone in Brooklyn. It's modest compared to the penthouse. Brick, 3 stories, a small garden out front. Where are we? Zuri asks. A safe house. No one knows about this place except me and Leon. They go inside. The furniture is simple, clean. There's a kitchen with a table, a living room with a couch, 2 bedrooms upstairs. Etta locks the door behind them and pulls the curtains closed. Stay away from the windows, she says. Zuri sits on the couch, feeling the weight of everything pressing down on her chest. Why would someone threaten me? Etta sits beside her. Because you're asking questions. Because you matter. Because if the truth comes out, powerful people go to jail. What truth? Etta takes a breath. Your mother was investigating Gerald Moss and Victor Alcott. She found evidence they were embezzling from my company. She was going to expose them. Zuri's eyes widen. And they killed her? I don't have proof, but the timing is too close to ignore. Zuri's hands ball into fists. So they killed my mother. Then they tried to make me disappear. Yes. And now they know I'm back. Etta nods. Zuri stands up, pacing. Her mind races. We can't just hide. They'll find us eventually. I know. So what do we do? Etta looks at her, and for the first time, Zuri sees something different in her grandmother's face. Not fear, not guilt, rage. We fight back, Etta says. We gather every piece of evidence we can find. We expose them, all of them. Zuri stops pacing. How? I don't know yet, but I'm going to figure it out. That night, Zuri lies awake in the unfamiliar bedroom. The house is too quiet. Every creak of the floorboards makes her jump. She thinks about her mother, about the bridge, about the man in the photo. She knew too much, just like you. Zuri reaches under her pillow and pulls out the notebook Marcus gave her. She opens it and starts writing. Not sentences, just names, questions, timelines. Gerald Moss, Victor Alcott, Donovan Pierce, Lorraine Patterson. They all connect. But how? She draws lines between the names, trying to map it out. Then she writes one more name at the center. Zuri Bell, her mother. The one who started it all by asking the wrong questions. Zuri closes the notebook and stares at the ceiling. She doesn't cry. She's done crying. Now she's just angry. Downstairs, Etta sits at the kitchen table with her laptop open. Bernard sent her files. Lots of them. Bank records, emails, legal documents. She reads through them one by one, piecing together the pattern. Gerald and Victor didn't just steal money. They created shell companies, fake invoices, redirected funds. And when Sienna found out, they silenced her. But they made a mistake. They left a paper trail. Etta's phone buzzes. A text from Bernard. Found Donovan Pierce. He's in DC working as a consultant for a law firm. Etta types back. Get me his address. A minute later, Bernard responds. Etta, if you're thinking what I think you're thinking, don't. Let the police handle this. Etta doesn't reply. She closes her laptop and sits in the dark. She thinks about Sienna, about the day she died, about the funeral where Etta stood dry-eyed and silent while a 6-year-old Zuri sobbed into her dress. Etta never let herself grieve. She just moved forward, made decisions, built walls, and those walls cost her everything. But now, sitting in this quiet house with her granddaughter asleep upstairs, Etta makes a choice. She's not going to hide anymore. She's going to tear down every lie, every cover-up, every person who thought they could get away with it, because they hurt her daughter. They hurt her granddaughter. And Etta Caldwell-Revore does not forgive. Upstairs, Zuri's phone buzzes. She picks it up and sees a message from an unknown number. Stop asking questions or you'll end up like your mother. Zuri's breath catches. She stares at the screen, her hands shaking. Then she does something she's never done before. She screenshots the message and sends it to Marcus. 3 dots appear, then his response. I'm coming to you. Where are you? Zuri types the address. Then she gets out of bed, walks downstairs, and finds Etta still sitting at the table. I got another message, Zuri says quietly. Etta looks up. Zuri shows her the phone. Etta's face hardens. They're getting desperate. Good, Zuri says. That means we're getting close. What would you risk to uncover a truth that could destroy the people who destroyed you? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. Drop your thoughts in the comments and inspire others with your story. Marcus arrives at the Brooklyn safe house an hour later. He doesn't ask questions. Just walks in, checks every lock, every window, and sits down with Etta and Zuri at the kitchen table. You need to go to the police, he says. Etta shakes her head. They're compromised. Victor paid off a social worker. Who's to say he didn't pay off cops too? Marcus leans back, frustrated. Then what's your plan? Hide forever? No. Etta's voice is firm. We expose them publicly, in a way they can't bury. How? Etta looks at Zuri. Congressional hearing, foster system reform. Zuri testifies about what happened to her. We make it national news. Zuri's eyes widen. You want me to talk in front of Congress? Only if you're ready. Zuri looks down at her hands. They're still shaking from the message she received. But underneath the fear, there's something else. Something stronger. I'm ready. Marcus studies her. You sure about this? Once you go public, there's no taking it back. I don't want to take it back. I want them to pay. Marcus nods slowly. All right. Then we do this right. We get security. We coordinate with media. We make sure your story is heard. Etta pulls out her phone and starts making calls. By morning, she's lined up a team. Lawyers, publicists, a private security firm, people who owe her favors, people who believe in the cause. The hearing is scheduled for 2 weeks out. In that time, Zuri prepares. She writes her statement, practices it with Dr. Okonkwo, learns how to stay calm under pressure, how to speak clearly, how to look people in the eye and tell them the truth. But every night she gets another message. You're making a mistake. They'll destroy you. No one will believe a child. Zuri saves everyone, screenshots them, sends them to Marcus, who forwards them to the FBI. Because whoever is sending them is getting sloppy. And sloppy people make mistakes. 3 days before the hearing, Bernard calls with news. We found the connection. Etta puts him on speaker. Talk to me. Donovan Pierce. He's been working as a lobbyist. Guess who one of his clients is? Who? A shell company owned by Victor Alcott. Etta's jaw tightens. So they're still working together. Looks like it. And there's more. I pulled Victor's financial records. He's been paying off journalists, buying silence. There's a whole network. Can we prove it? With the evidence we have? Yes, but it's going to take time. We don't have time. The hearing is in 3 days. Then you better hope Zuri's testimony is enough. Etta hangs up and looks at Zuri. You still want to do this? Zuri doesn't hesitate. Yes. The day of the hearing arrives. Zuri wakes up early, her stomach in knots. She puts on the clothes Etta bought her. A navy blue dress. Simple. Professional. She stares at herself in the mirror and barely recognizes the girl looking back. Downstairs, Marcus is waiting. He's wearing a suit. So is Leon. They're both going as part of her security detail. Etta comes down the stairs, dressed in a charcoal gray suit, pearls around her neck. She looks like the woman from the business magazines. Powerful, untouchable. But when she looks at Zuri, her eyes soften. You ready? No, but I'm going anyway. Etta smiles. That's my girl. They drive to DC in a black SUV with tinted windows. The streets are crowded with protesters. Signs everywhere. Some supporting foster system reform. Some calling Etta a fraud. Some demanding justice for Zuri. They pull up to the Capitol building and the crowd surges. Cameras flash. Reporters shout questions. Marcus and Leon form a barrier, guiding Etta and Zuri through the chaos. Inside, the hearing room is packed. Rows of seats filled with journalists, advocates, government officials. At the front, a panel of senators sits behind a long desk, faces serious. Zuri takes her seat at the witness table. A microphone sits in front of her. A glass of water. A name placard that reads Zuri Bell. Her hands are shaking so hard she has to sit on them. Etta sits in the front row, directly in Zuri's line of sight. Marcus is beside her. The chairwoman, Senator Elaine Graves, bangs the gavel. This hearing is now in session. We're here today to discuss systemic failures in the foster care system and hear testimony from those directly affected. Our first witness is Zuri Bell. Senator Graves looks at Zuri with kind eyes. Ms. Bell, thank you for being here. I know this isn't easy. Take your time. Zuri nods. She pulls out the paper where she wrote her statement. Her hands tremble as she unfolds it. She starts reading. My name is Zuri Bell. I'm 13 years old. When I was 6, my mother died in a car accident. My grandmother, Etta Caldwell-Revore, set up a trust fund for me. But instead of taking care of me herself, she placed me with relatives. Her voice cracks. She pauses, takes a breath. Those relatives abused me. They hit me. They locked me in the basement. They told me I was expensive, that I was bad. When I tried to survive by stealing food from school, they called the police and said I was out of control. The room is silent. Not a single person moves. I ended up in a shelter. For 3 months, nobody knew where I was. Nobody called my grandmother. Nobody checked on me. I thought I'd been forgotten. Zuri looks up from the paper and makes eye contact with Senator Graves. But I wasn't forgotten. I was hidden, on purpose, by people who wanted my grandmother's money. Gasps ripple through the room. Cameras click. My mother was investigating fraud. She found out people were stealing, and then she died. I don't think that's a coincidence. Senator Graves leans forward. Ms. Bell, are you saying you believe your mother was killed? Zuri swallows hard. I don't have proof, but I have questions, and I think people should be asking them too. She pulls out her phone and holds it up. I've been receiving threats. People telling me to stop talking, telling me I'll end up like my mother. A senator on the panel, Senator Marcus Webb's eyes widen. You have evidence of these threats? Yes, sir. I have screenshots. The FBI has copies. Another senator speaks up. Ms. Bell, can you name the individuals you believe are responsible? Zuri's heart pounds. This is it. The moment everything changes. She takes a breath. Victor Alcott, Donovan Pierce, Lorraine Patterson, and Gerald Moss, who's dead but started it all. The room erupts. Journalists shout questions. Cameras flash. The senators bang their gavels, trying to restore order. In the front row, Etta watches with tears streaming down her face. Marcus leans over and whispers, "She's doing it." But then, something happens. The back doors of the hearing room burst open. A man in a suit walks in, flanked by 2 lawyers. He's tall, white-haired, wearing a ring with a red stone. Victor Alcott. He walks straight down the center aisle, ignoring the cameras, and stops at the witness table. "This hearing is a sham," he says loudly. "That child is lying, and I'm here to prove it." Zuri's blood turns to ice. Senator Graves bangs her gavel. "Sir, you cannot interrupt these proceedings." "I have documents," Victor says, holding up a briefcase. Documents that prove Etta Caldwell-Revore is using her granddaughter to cover up her own financial crimes. Etta stands up, her face livid. "That's a lie," Victor smirks. "Is it? Or are you just desperate to save your reputation?" The room explodes into chaos. What do you do when the villain shows up to destroy your testimony in real time? Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the explosive conclusion. Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know what you do in Zuri's position. Security moves toward Victor, but Senator Graves holds up her hand. "Wait, She looks at Victor, her face cold. You claim to have evidence? I do. Then present it. Under oath. Victor's smirk falters. I'm not here to testify. Then sit down and be quiet, or you'll be held in contempt. Victor hesitates. His lawyers lean in, whispering urgently. After a moment, he steps back. But he doesn't leave. He sits in the back row, arms crossed, watching. Senator Graves turns back to Zuri. Ms. Bell, are you able to continue? Zuri's heart is racing. Her hands are shaking, but she nods. Yes, ma'am. Then please go on. Zuri takes a breath and looks directly at Victor. You stole from my grandmother. You paid people to lie. You made sure I was forgotten. But I'm not going anywhere. Victor's face hardens. Senator Graves speaks up. Mr. Alcott, you'll have your opportunity to respond. But not until Ms. Bell is finished. Victor says nothing, just stares. Zuri continues. I know what you did. I know you worked with Gerald Moss to steal millions. I know you paid Lorraine to keep me hidden. I know you paid off the social worker who was supposed to check on me. She pulls out a folder Marcus gave her that morning. Inside are copies of bank records, emails, payment receipts, and I have proof. She slides the folder across the table to Senator Graves. The senator opens it, her expression darkening as she reads. After a long moment, she looks up. This committee will take a 15-minute recess while we review these documents. The gavel bangs. The room erupts into noise. Reporters rush toward Zuri. Marcus and Leon form a wall around her, guiding her out a side door into a private hallway. Etta is there, pacing. You did good, she says, pulling Zuri into a hug. So good. Zuri's legs feel like jelly. She sits down on a bench, her head in her hands. He's going to get away with it, she whispers. He's rich. He has lawyers. People like him always get away with it. Etta kneels in front of her. Not this time. How do you know? Because you spoke the truth. And the truth has power. Marcus crouches beside them. She's right. Those documents you handed over, they're damning. If the FBI follows through, Victor's done. Zuri looks up. If they will, Marcus says firmly, I'll make sure of it. 15 minutes later, they're called back into the hearing room. The atmosphere has changed. The senators look serious, grim. Senator Graves clears her throat. After reviewing the evidence provided by Ms. Bell, this committee is recommending a full federal investigation into Victor Alcott, Lorraine Patterson, and all associated parties. Gasps fill the room. Victor stands up, his face red. This is absurd. Sit down, Mr. Alcott, Senator Graves says sharply, or you will be removed. Victor's lawyers pull him back into his seat. Senator Graves continues. Furthermore, we are recommending reforms to the foster care system to prevent situations like Ms. Bell's from happening again. No child should fall through the cracks the way she did. Applause erupts. Zuri sits frozen, unable to process what just happened. Did they believe her? Did she actually win? Senator Graves looks at her with something close to admiration. Ms. Bell, your courage today will help countless children. Thank you. Zuri nods, her throat too tight to speak. The hearing adjourns. Zuri is swarmed by reporters, but Marcus and Leon get her out quickly. They leave through a back entrance and drive to a hotel where they're staying the night. In the hotel room, Etta orders room service. They eat in silence, too exhausted to talk. But later, when Zuri is lying in bed, her phone buzzes. She picks it up, expecting another threat. Instead, it's a news alert. Victor Alcott arrested following congressional testimony. Federal charges filed. Zuri sits up, her heart pounding. She opens the article and reads. Victor was arrested as he left the Capitol building. The FBI had been building a case for weeks, and Zuri's testimony gave them the final piece they needed. Lorraine Patterson was arrested an hour later. Donovan Pierce is under investigation. Zuri stares at the screen, tears streaming down her face. She did it. She actually did it. She gets out of bed and walks into the living room where Etta is sitting by the window, looking out at the city. Did you see? Zuri asks. Etta nods. I saw. Is it really over? Etta turns to face her. The legal part? Maybe. The healing part? That takes longer. Zuri sits beside her. For a long time, they don't say anything. Just sit together in the quiet. Finally, Zuri speaks. I'm still mad at you. Etta nods. I know, but I'm glad you came for me. Etta's voice breaks. I should have come sooner. Yeah, you should have. Etta reaches for her hand. This time, Zuri lets her take it. I can't change the past, Etta says. But I can be here now, for as long as you'll let me. Zuri squeezes her hand. Okay. They sit together until the sun rises. But the next morning, there's a knock on the hotel room door. Marcus opens it. A woman in a suit stands there holding a briefcase. I'm Agent Raina Cross with the FBI. I need to speak with Zuri Bell. Zuri walks over, her stomach tight. What's wrong? Agent Cross looks at her seriously. We found something in Victor's files. Something about your mother's accident. Zuri's breath catches. What did you find? Agent Cross opens her briefcase and pulls out a folder. Evidence that suggests her car was tampered with. The room goes silent. What happens when you finally get the proof you've been searching for? Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the final chapters. Drop a comment and tell us what justice means to you. Zuri stares at Agent Cross like the woman just spoke another language. Tampered with? Etta's voice is sharp. You're saying it wasn't an accident? Agent Cross nods. We found maintenance records in Victor's files. Your daughter's car was serviced 2 days before the crash. The mechanic's name matches someone on Victor's payroll. Etta grips the back of a chair. Oh my God. Agent Cross looks at Zuri. We're reopening your mother's case as a homicide investigation. But we need your help. Both of you. Anything you remember from that time. Anything at all. Zuri's mind spins. She was 6 when her mother died. Most of that year is a blur. But there are fragments. Pieces she's tried to forget. She was scared, Zuri says quietly. The week before she died, she kept looking over her shoulder. She wouldn't let me answer the door. Etta's face goes pale. She called me 2 days before the accident. She said she needed to talk, that it was important. I told her I was busy, that we'd talk later. Her voice breaks, but later never came. Agent Cross writes everything down. Did she mention any names? Anyone who might have been threatening her? Zuri closes her eyes, trying to remember. Then it comes back. A fragment. A moment. She was on the phone. I heard her say a name. Pierce. She said, Pierce, you need to stop calling me. Agent Cross looks up sharply. Donovan Pierce? I don't know. I was little, but she sounded scared. Agent Cross closes her notebook. That's enough. We'll bring him in for questioning. When? Etta demands. Today. Agent Cross leaves. The room is silent. Zuri sits down on the couch, her hands shaking. They killed her, she whispers. They actually killed her. Etta sits beside her. We don't have proof yet, but we will. Zuri looks at her grandmother. And when we do, I want them to pay. All of them. Etta nods. They will. The next day, Donovan Pierce is arrested. The news spreads fast. By evening, every major outlet is covering the story. Congressional testimony leads to murder investigation. Real estate mogul's daughter may have been killed. Zuri watches the coverage from the hotel room, sees her own face on screen, hears reporters call her brave, a hero, a survivor, but she doesn't feel like any of those things. She just feels tired. Marcus stops by that evening. He brings his daughter, Amara, who's been asking about Zuri since the hearing. I saw you on TV, Amara says shyly. You were really brave. Zuri manages a small smile. Thanks. My dad says you helped a lot of kids. I hope so. Amara sits beside her on the couch. I'm glad you're okay. Zuri looks at this girl who has everything she didn't. A father who loves her, a safe home, a normal life. But instead of feeling jealous, Zuri just feels grateful. Grateful someone cares. Me too, Zuri says. Marcus pulls Etta aside. The preliminary hearing for Victor and Lorraine is next week. Donovan's arraignment is the week after. You both need to be there. We will be, Etta says. And after that? Etta looks at Zuri. After that, we figure out what normal looks like. The preliminary hearing is brutal. Zuri has to testify again, this time in a courtroom facing Victor and Lorraine directly. Lorraine won't look at her, just stares at the table, her face blank. But Victor watches her the whole time. His expression is cold, calculating. Zuri refuses to look away. She tells the judge everything. About the abuse, the basement, the shelter, the threats. Victor's lawyer tries to tear her apart, asks if she's lying, if she's being coached, if she's doing this for money. Zuri's voice stays steady. I'm doing this because it's the truth. The judge rules there's enough evidence to proceed to trial. Victor and Lorraine are denied bail. As they're led out in handcuffs, Victor leans towards Zuri and whispers, "You're going to regret this." Marcus steps between them immediately. "That's enough." Security pulls Victor away, but his words hang in the air. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarm. Etta makes a statement. Justice is not just about punishing the guilty. It's about protecting the innocent. My granddaughter was failed by every system meant to protect her. But she didn't give up, and neither will we. The cameras flash. Questions are shouted. But Etta takes Zuri's hand and walks away. That night, back at the safe house, Zuri sits on the couch with her notebook. She opens it and writes, "I thought I was broken, but I was just waiting." She closes the book and looks at Etta. "What happens now?" Etta sits beside her. "Now we heal. We rebuild. We make sure this never happens to another child." "How?" "We start a foundation. In your mother's name. We fund advocacy, legal support, safe housing, whatever kids need." Zuri considers this. "And me? You do whatever you want. Go to school, travel, become an advocate yourself if you want, or just be a kid for a while." Zuri smiles. It's small, but it's real. "I think I'd like to be a kid for a while." Etta pulls her into a hug. "Then that's what you'll be." But later that night, Zuri receives one final message. It's from an unknown number. "Your mother would be proud." Zuri stares at the screen. Then she types back, "Who is this?" No response. She shows Etta, who immediately calls Agent Cross. "We'll trace it," the agent says. "But whoever sent it used a burner phone. It's going to take time." Zuri sits with the message, reading it over and over. "Your mother would be proud." For the first time in years, Zuri lets herself believe it. What does it mean to finally get justice for the ones you've lost? Subscribe and turn on notifications because the final chapter is coming. Tell us in the comments what you think happens next. 6 months later, Zuri stands in front of a new building in Brooklyn. It's 3 stories, brick, with large windows that let in natural light. A sign above the door reads, Sienna Bell Advocacy Center. Etta stands beside her. Marcus is there too, along with Amara. A small crowd has gathered. Families, advocates, kids who've been through the system. A reporter from the local news holds a microphone. "Zuri, how does it feel to see your mother's name on this building?" Zuri thinks about it. It feels like she's still here, still fighting. What's the mission of the center? To help kids who fall through the cracks. Legal support, therapy, safe housing, whatever they need to feel seen. The reporter smiles. "That's beautiful. Thank you." The cameras turn off. The crowd disperses. Zuri and Etta walk inside. The first floor is set up with offices, desks where case workers will sit, meeting rooms for families, a playroom for younger kids. The second floor has therapy rooms, quiet spaces, a library stocked with books. The third floor is apartments, temporary housing for kids aging out of foster care. Zuri walks through each floor, taking it all in. It's real. Her mother's legacy is real. "What do you think?" Etta asks. "I think she would have loved this." Etta smiles. So do I. They sit in the library, surrounded by shelves of books. Zuri picks one up. Poetry collection. She flips through it and finds a line that stops her. Healing is not linear, but it is possible. She closes the book and looks at Etta. I'm not mad at you anymore. Etta's breath catches. You're not. No. I'm still hurt, but I understand why you did what you did. You were scared, and scared people make bad choices. Etta nods, her eyes wet. I'm so sorry, Zuri, for all of it. I know, and I forgive you. The words hang in the air. Simple, honest, powerful. Etta pulls her into a hug. They sit like that for a long time. When they finally pull apart, Zuri says, I want to go back to school. Really? Yeah, I want to be normal for a while. Etta laughs. Normal sounds good. The trial for Victor, Lorraine, and Donovan takes place over the next 3 months. All three are found guilty. Victor gets 20 years for embezzlement, fraud, and conspiracy. Lorraine gets 15 for abuse and neglect. Donovan gets life for his role in Sienna's death. The verdicts make national news. Zuri doesn't watch the coverage. She's done with cameras, done with reporters. She just wants to live. She enrolls in a private school in Manhattan, makes friends, joins the debate team, learns how to be a teenager. Every week, she visits the Sienna Bell Advocacy Center. Sometimes she helps with intake. Sometimes she just sits with kids and listens, because she knows what it's like to feel invisible, and she refuses to let anyone else feel that way. One afternoon, a girl comes into the center. She's 12, skinny, with haunted eyes. She clutches a plastic bag and won't look anyone in the eye. Zuri recognizes herself immediately. She walks over and sits beside the girl. Hi, I'm Zuri. The girl doesn't respond. You hungry? A small nod. Zuri takes her to the kitchen and makes her a sandwich. The girl eats slowly, like she's not sure it's real. I used to live in a shelter, Zuri says quietly. I know what it's like. The girl looks up, surprised. You do? Yeah, it was hard. But I made it through, and you will too. The girl's eyes fill with tears. How do you know? Because you're here, and that's the first step. They sit together in silence. After a while, the girl asks, What's your name again? Zuri. I'm Kendra. Nice to meet you, Kendra. Later that evening, Zuri goes home to the penthouse. Etta is in the kitchen, attempting to cook dinner. She's gotten better at it. Still not great, but better. They eat together, talking about their days. It's normal, easy, the kind of thing Zuri never thought she'd have. After dinner, Zuri goes to her room and pulls out the notebook Marcus gave her. She opens it to the first page where she wrote her first words. I wasn't broken. I was waiting. She smiles. Then she flips to a blank page and writes something new. I waited, and now I'm here. She closes the notebook and sets it on her nightstand. Outside, the city lights flicker. Inside, Zuri feels something she hasn't felt in years. Peace. The next morning, Etta receives a letter. It's from Gerald Moss's estate. Inside is a document, a confession written before he died. He admits everything, the embezzlement, the cover-up, his role in isolating Zuri. But the final line makes Etta's blood run cold. I didn't act alone. Someone higher gave the orders. I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough to say no. Etta stares at the words. Someone higher. Who? She calls Agent Cross immediately. We need to reopen the investigation. Etta, we already got convictions. Read this. She sends a photo of the letter. Agent Cross is silent for a long moment. I'll look into it. Etta hangs up and walks to Zuri's room. The girl is at her desk doing homework. Zuri? Yeah, I need to tell you something. Zuri looks up, concern crossing her face. What's wrong? Gerald left a confession. He said someone else was involved. Someone we haven't caught yet. Zuri's jaw tightens. So it's not over. Maybe not. Zuri stands up. Then we keep going. Etta smiles. You sure? Yeah, I'm not afraid anymore. And she means it, because Zuri Bell is no longer the broken child hiding in a shelter. She's a survivor, a fighter, a voice for those who can't speak. And she's just getting started. As Etta and Zuri stand together, ready to face whatever comes next, the sun sets over the city. The skyline glows. The world keeps turning. But inside this penthouse, inside this moment, there is something unshakable. Hope. And that, more than anything, is what changes everything. This is the story of a girl who refused to stay invisible, a grandmother who learned that love requires presence, and a system that finally listened. If this story moved you, subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories that inspire and empower. Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know how you've overcome your own struggles. Your story matters, and together we can create change.